And if you think that I don't know about little tricks you've played, and never see when deliberately you put things in my way, well, here's a poke at you. You're gonna choke on it too. You're gonna lose that smile, because all the while I can see for miles and miles. I can see for miles. Yeah, that's enough of that. Anyway, thought I'll give you a bit of who. We can see for miles, can't be VooTubers. Hello, troops. Good morning. I'm back. It's Gertie Wood. We're back with this bleeding creature, aren't we, today? So, last night, Eamon Holmes, no less, gave an interview to Dan Wootton of the GB News, is it? And it was quite an interesting, yes, interview. I thought we might hold hands and walk through it together. What do you think? Shall we? Shall we do that? Come on then. Wally, Molly, Polly, Dolly. She's here for us, VooTube. Come on, Dolly and Wally. Oh. What's going on?
Narcissist. Everything is about him.
Yes.
Why were there no changes? Why was there no retribution? Because of the management around him.
Because he's a narcissist.
Tolerated these things that went on. And when there was talk of Philip having a relationship with a young man, that young man was, in inverted commas, promoted. I didn't know, but I've subsequently found out from a very, very good source, because he would arrive much earlier in the morning than I would for the program. Right. That he was delivered from Philip's London home.
Oh!
Usually on a Friday morning. Okay. Because Thursday was playtime.
Yes.
When he and Philip would hit the town.
Right. And hit the town. Okay. We'll call it that, shall we? Yes. It's called Hitting the Town. And 60-year-old geezer is having playtime with a young teenager. So, what also transpired, you can find this up on your VooTubers, much as I already heard and also suspected, there was a lot more to it than met the eye. The poor lad he was only young and he fell in love with this, what he thought was a superstar on your television. He thought it was exclusive to him because he was only young. It broke his heart, he had a nervous breakdown. He goes on at... Let me just see if I can find it. Just for the... Where are we with it, please? Gertie Rudacious. You don't know what you're doing, do you, dear? No, I don't. 5 minutes. Anyway, there's a bit on there, which I can't find at the moment. You must go and watch it yourself. Where Eamon speaks about knowing this young lad, because obviously the young boy worked at the TV studios when he used to present the Friday. So basically, this lard-ass creature, Pippi Scrotum Bag, he was working Monday to Thursday, and Thursday was play night. And apparently this young runner, who's the bottom of the pile really in parlance, common parlance, of the television and film media world, whatever, you're at the bottom of the pile if you're a runner. And apparently this runner was a non-negotiable part of Pippi Scrotum Bag's work life, apparently. But nobody knew what was going on, VooTubers. No! So this runner went everywhere with him. He even went up on stage to get an award that obviously was just for Pippi Scrotum Bag. Weren't for everybody behind the scenes that made it happen. No! Just for Pippi Scrotum Bag. So, he's a narcissist. He might make a cursory, oh yeah, thanks for all the tip, but basically it's him in it. And Dolly Wallaby. Reminds me quite a lot, but in a different type of vein. The Helen DeGeneres, whatever her name is in America, where she was saccharine sweet and behind the camera she's right bitch, physically abused her girlfriend. There's plenty of there's plenty you can find out about poor old Portia. Yes, poor old Portia. And she was all hashtag be kind and sat there like a pair of old witches caterwauling about everybody and everything, pontificating. Sanctimonious palooza. Look at us, we're so marvellous. And again, similar was happening in this situation. But this young lad, and I have got a dog in the game with this because I don't want to overshare my life. But a very, very long time ago, when I was young, I was in a similar situation. I was VTubers. I was, yes, a much older, and might I say, celebrity whose star was on what might call the wane, sort of love bombed me. And I ended up with them, and like, he was with me because of my youth, and I was with him because I thought he loved me, and he once been famous, and the security, and I mean, he knew Roger Daltrey and all this old bullshit. The only problem was, as I was with him, he just saw the young me, not Gertie Rude, me, the real person, when I was young, and he didn't realise that inside what he thought was an empty head and a walking pair of bosoms uh, was a brain. So I knew a lot of the bullshit that he was giving me was bullshit. I just knew because I knew because I knew, you know. I don't know how I knew. I just bleeding well knew, but I went along with it because I don't know. I don't know why. So I have got a dog in the game, and I can see where this young lad, and of course, people like that, narcissists like that. They will. It's what they can get out of it. It's a narcissistic supply that you give them. And obviously, I mean, he told me he was 58. I mean, he was every day at 68. Do you know what I mean? And I was nowhere near that age. I was decades and decades much younger. I wasn't vulnerable. I was just bleeding stupid, I suppose. I moved in those sort of circles where I met this old creature. And he had me over, and it did interfere with my mental health. But that's quite precarious at the best of times, with two verse. But it didn't, because in the end, you wake up, don't you? And of course, decades later, I could see exactly what was going on. He's just full of shit, basically. And it's all about them, and it's not very much about the other person. It's how they feel and how they appear. So Pippi Scrotenbag liked to be seen with a young boy. He liked the cachet of feeling that he could still pull. Yeah, he still had it. Because he didn't just wake up one day and decide he was going to be into young boys. It's been going on for a very long time. And consequently, this poor young man, who has been named all over the media and social media, had a breakdown, at which point he was unceremoniously parcelled off to loose women. They called it promoting up, but like all the people in the media, all the media heads have said, it's common knowledge that you don't get promoted up. He was parcelled off, he was moved on. Because Scrotum had finished with him, but also the young lad knew too much, so Scrotum had to sort of salve him by getting him a job somewhere else, anywhere but out of his orbit, because he'd moved on to somebody else. The talk nowadays is that he's with his personal trainer, YouTube, which you can imagine is like 20, you know what I mean, or a lot younger than 60. So, yeah, or at least he was with his personal trainer. But whatever, who cares? I don't, no one cares. He's just a slimy grease bag. He broke the young lad's heart, but I'd like you to watch this, all you people that are watching it, because you quite like your mad old bag, dirty bleak mood. Go and watch it on Vutu, because Eamon actually starts talking about, which I haven't got the right interview here. You can actually see the whole interview, and this is something that was snipped and cut up and replayed on GB News, I think, or Dan Wootton. I like Dan Wootton, like Eamon. He talks about this young lad being very vulnerable and being in a very bad place emotionally, blah de blah, and Ruth being a bit of a mummy figure to him that he can ring and everything, talk to her. But he also talks about this lad always needing money. Now, you might argue that we always need money. Many of us could do with much more money, maybe. But it's the emphasis, it's not what Eamon says, it's what he doesn't say. I mean, I know what I think he's driving at, because I know. But I wonder if you lot would like to watch it and see if you can garner the same conclusion that I did. Because if that creepy old creature has got this young lad, or as a consequence of being tied up with that creepy old creature, this young lad has got himself some sort of unpleasant or unnecessary or life destroying habit, should we say, or yeah, whatever sort of inclination or liking for or need for, something like that. I mean, does he need a lot of money? Is he paying his gambling bills? I don't know. Doesn't seem very likely. But I think I kind of read between the lines of where we're going with this. The lad was an emotional mess. He was broken. They keep saying he met him when he was 15, but I've seen photographs of him with Schofield when the lad was 10. And he was up there giving it all the Johnny Big Balls at the Two-Faced Theatre Company. Yeah, look at me. I'm Pippi Scrotum Man. Look at me with my arms around all these young kids. And the lad is is in the picture. He's 10. So he didn't just know him at 15. They're trying to move the goalposts and sort of, where can we safely move it? Where it's still sort of thingy, but it's not actual. He knew him as a child. He mentored him. He's a disgusting, disgraced piece. And of course, because he's a narcissist, he will keep coming out and blaming everybody else. Oh, they just all had it in for me. Yeah, it was all the people that didn't like me. They've all ganged up on me. No, it's all the people, that, like I said before, the adults in the room that tried to do something and no one listened. And it was like he had a free pass to act however he did. And I mean, like I said on one of my very first uploads on this subject, had he been a 16, 17-year-old girl, my God, the knives would have been out for Schofield bloody years ago. But the fact that he's took a young lad, took his dreams, and he was good. Even Eamon Holmes pays tribute to the young lad and said, actually, he was a very talented young man. And he was really quite in love with that horrible, disgusting creature of an old man. And of course, what he would have done, Schofield, he would have love bombed him, wouldn't he? He would have, took him out, showed him this, and I know this person and that. But like when it was me, they had a phone book and they had all the phone numbers of all these famous people that they could ring, blah blah blah. And they'd been a star in like the 70s when I was a little freaking kid. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just disgusting. It's not the first narcissist I've come a crop of two-voos, as I'm sure some of you lot out there have had narcissists in your life. It's about time something was done about these types of people, really. I think long after I'm dead, it will become a thing because, it was a century, about 150 years ago when Freud started, which is a spin-off from the philosophers' thought like Nietzsche and Schadenfreude, or whatever his name is, and all the other ones, the philosophy that played into, what we might now call modern psychology and behavioral psychology and stuff. So I think we need to widen it up a bit more and find out what sort of people are like this. Malignant narcissists, grandiose narcissists. We need to know. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair on the damage they do, and they kind of just get under the radar because they're just arsehole. Like as I say, in the 70s, 80s, it would have been they're just greasy old men. They're just slimy old men. They're more than that. They're life changing. Where is this lad? What's happened to him? Is he sat in a shop doorway somewhere? We don't know. No one seems to know. And really oddly, for such a young chap, he literally has no social media presence at all. So I'll just leave that with you. Right. Love you loads. Bye-bye now.